Okay, this is a persuasive speech for COMM 231. Gay rights, gun control, immigration, and abortion. These and countless others are hotly debated issues in modern American culture. One prominent common factor that each of these topics share is that in each instance, either side deals with different types of respect. However, either side is missing a respect for the views and truths presented by their opposition. Before the recent major culture shift, there existed a general understanding among citizens that each person was created equal and was endowed by their creator with certain unalienable rights. These unalienable rights were derived from the intrinsic value that each person was believed to have. According to the ideologies of Plato recorded in the Stanford Dictionary, quote, instead of saying that something is good, we often say that it is valuable. Intrinsic value is a particular kind of moral value. From this truth, it can be deduced that because Americans have strayed from the intrinsic value mindset, so too have we lost a handle that since Americans have strayed from good morals, so too have we strayed from the intrinsic value mindset. The intrinsic value understanding was accompanied by the acknowledgement that each of these equal creations was also endowed with worth and value, and these elements combined meant that each person was owed a certain level of respect by every other person. Being respectful is essential to sustain any civil society and should remain disinterested concerning personal opinion and existing circumstances. Teaching interpersonal respect to moderns is no simple feat, however, we must first have a definition of terms. According to the Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy, there are three main types of respect: caution, reverence, and the moral consideration of something in its own right, or the respect that is owed to all creations equally. This is commonly known as being polite. This evaluative, polite respect is, quote, similar to other favorable attitudes such as esteem and admiration. It is earned or deserved depending on whether, and to the degree that, something is judged to meet certain standards. Through the course of history, society has lost a sense of respect and has gained an acceptance of insubordination and immoral views. This claim has been supported by the drastic increase in public scandal as well as mistrust of government leaders since the end of World War II. The economy after World War II improved greatly to the point where Americans changed their mindset to one characteristic of a throwaway society. This new mindset is still the predominant one today, consisting of members who care less about intrinsic value and more about any immediate material wealth they stand to gain. Thus, this post-World War II switch to a consumer society correlates with the rise of entertainment beginning just after FDR was elected into office. The widespread implementation of radios into American homes marked the beginning of the rise of entertainment on a national level. Instead of a wholesome family conversation being sustained within the home, a fellowship around the radio began to occur. Now fast forward to the 21st century, when the rise of smartphones became popular and attention within the home became even more divided, as family members switched their focus from a communal focus on the television to their individual entertainment displayed on their phone screens. Combined, the shift to a throwaway society and the isolation provided by individual entertainment caused national fragmentation. This individualistic mindset that occurred after the end of World War II marked the start of the degradation of respect in modern American society. Modern American culture lacks many elements of proper courtesy. Teens and even adults refuse to realize that other adults have a higher level of authority than they themselves possess. Authority goes both ways. There should be respect for personal authority, as well as respect for hierarchical authority, such as that of a teacher, a parent, an employer. The respect given to those of a higher authority than oneself seems as if it should be earned, as genuine respect should. However, a title that holds more weight acts as a rite of passage to a higher level of authority, a higher level of respect. While it is unfair that the person with this privilege may choose to use it unfairly to their advantage in malicious ways, they must be respected regardless. Giving proper respect does not mean that one supports or endorses such actions, only that one should speak and act with respect to authority as a primary consideration in their mind. Historically, there have been many groups who have rebelled against oppressive authoritative measures with acts of mass disobedience. For instance, in 1919, the 18th Amendment declared that all alcohol was to be prohibited, in order to get crime rates down and to heighten public health. Those oppressed by this law did not see prohibition as a measure that was intended to promote moderation and temperance. In 1933, the amendment was repealed, however, the moral lesson was retained, and alcohol consumption and arrest rates dropped drastically. The vast majority of rules and laws set down by groups of authority are based on good motives and end beneficially, even if those subject to them don't view the situation in that light. The best way to regain a lost sense of respect for authority is to attempt to understand the rationale of those in power. Rules are put into place for the betterment of the system's function and for the protection of those under the system. A second form of evaluative respect that modern Americans lack is a sense of respect for persons. Young and old, we as a society have lost a sight of the realization that we all have the essence of being human to hold in common. A topical demonstration of this truth is a modern disrespect for the LGBTQIA+ community. Members of the straight community do not often recognize ace, queer, and trans individuals as people and are fond of using improper pronouns when referring to them. Everyone deserves respect, regardless of lifestyle choices. Members of the LGBTQIA+ community are people endowed with worth and value just like members of any other community. The distinction that these individuals are people is justification for the conclusion that they therefore deserve personal pronouns, not to be referred to as an it or a thing. Giving proper respect means not that one must agree with or take part in this lifestyle, it only means that they are obligated by the same supreme principle of morality that Immanuel Kant argued for in the 1700s to calmly act with respect for persons as a primary consideration. Giving proper respect, a historical example of disrespect for persons arose in the 1920s where it was common for men to catcall ladies in public. This classification, as well as the overall attitude towards women shown in the media, provides a relevant example of disrespect for persons. In her piece, included in the Encyclopedia of the Great Depression, Lisa Boehm states that while women were not paid well in the Great Depression era, quote, women's wages remained a necessary part in Great Depression era family survival. In some Great Depression families, women were the only breadwinners. Even with the rise to importance that women experienced in this time, they failed to experience a rise to respect. Unemployed men, when presented with the opportunity to fill one of these women's work jobs, would generally choose to remain unemployed. In an article entitled Women in the Workplace, the author states that, quote, men without work would still not take a secretarial or clerical job due to the social implications involved. Thanks to necessity presented by the war effort, women were granted jobs and respect, something that they were not afforded before 1939. Everyone deserves respect, regardless of class or right. This truth can strongly be associated with Kant's categorical imperative, which states that one should, quote, act as you would want all other people to act towards all other people. Act according to the maxim that you would want all other rational people to follow, as if it were a universal law. So more simply put, Kant's categorical imperative asks what the world will be like tomorrow if every person alive today carried out the action that they were considering carrying out in that moment, be it good or bad. If every human chose to disobey any law with which they disagreed, even on the smallest level, the world would inevitably be chaos tomorrow. The mitigation techniques for this sort of lack of respect, while numerous, are tedious. Solutions include communications between parties so that each party can attempt to mutually understand rationale, which is integral in furthering the remedial process between hostile groups. Oftentimes, the reason behind discrimination is fear of the unknown or anger due to a lack of comprehension. And once the communication barrier is broken and each party begins to learn about and understand the others, that fear or anger dissipates and relationships are mended. The starting point for this process falls in line with the starting point of America, at the recognition that, quote, all men are created equal and are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, as written by Jefferson in the Declaration in 1776. By this, the framers meant that we as humans must call attention to the fact that, no matter the differences in beliefs or lifestyles, all men share in common a state of human existence, and we are all endowed with worth and value, therefore we all deserve respect. Once again, the supreme principle of morality binds all Americans together in respectful obligation towards one another. Overall, being respectful in modern times is exclusive to preferential dealings and does not take into account that every person deserves respect. Evaluative respect is crucial to sustain any civil society and should remain unbiased considering personal opinion and existing circumstances. Remedies for a life of classical respect include acting with respect to the inherent worth and value of one's fellow man, as well as with respect to whatever level of authority he may possess. Doing so may assist humans in a regression to the intrinsic value mindset, and could help re-implement a level of appreciation for the circumstances and challenges to which others are subject. This added element of respect between persons in modern times can be passed to future generations in hopes that at some point, culture may fully regress to the level of respect that it possessed when the intrinsic value mindset was first outlined. If humans can maintain in accordance with the supreme principle of morality, the state of interpersonal relations can potentially be repaired for the foreseeable future. Attempting to practice unconditional respect today could mean an improved worldwide state of existence tomorrow. Every person deserves unconditional respect. Thank you.